What's up? What's up? Welcome into batting cleanup this week. Our Evan Kimiko in Chi-Town. How you holding down up there in the Windy
Yes,
City, sir?
I'm doing good. It's not as windy as I thought it'd be. It's pretty warm. It's been okay weather, a little overcast, but hoping for some last minute blue skies later tonight for the Cubs game. But I'm doing good. And you were just in New York this weekend.
I was. We're all over the place. It's been
We
fun,
are.
and you got to hit up a baseball stadium when you're in New York. So we went to the Mets game, which was a lot of fun. They were playing the Pirates, and they won, which is always good. But Edwin Diaz, their closer, and I hadn't
Hmm.
experienced this before. It's my first time as a Mets game, which is kind of crazy because Mike
Yeah.
Piazza was my favorite player growing up. Like
Hmm.
in love with Mike Piazza, and I hung out probably way too long than I should have in the Piazza Club there. But taking selfies of him on the wall. But anyways, they do that really cool like intro for him when he comes out of the bullpen, and here's a little
Hmm.
clip of it right here. It's the trumpets, it's the light show. It's pretty sweet. Do they do anything like that in Chicago for anybody?
Uh, no. The only really cool thing that off the top of my head is obviously "Go Cubs Go" and the Cubs win and they fly the W flag and the whole stadium sings "Go Cubs Go."
Hmm.
But no, I think that's really MLB or Edwin Diaz specific,
Hmm.
where he has Timmy
Yeah.
Trumpets who does the trumpet song, and he walks out, and all my friends who are up there and send me videos at Mets games, and it looks just awesome. And
Yeah.
obviously he got traded from Seattle a couple of years ago, so
Hmm.
he wasn't in New York when I was still in New York at the time and could have gone to Mets games,
Hmm.
and he wasn't there when I because the last Mets game I went to was
Yeah.
2019 against the Brewers. But I actually really like City Field. I think it's
Yeah.
really underrated. That the apple in the center field is kind of stupid. Um,
Man, and then it came up at the end because they won, but I was really hoping
yeah.
for, I mean, I didn't wish for Peter Alonso home run because,
Hmm.
who
Maybe like
cares?
Lindor.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, like Lindor.
Eh.
But DJ Stewart's on the team too. He's a Florida State Seminole, so maybe a home run from him. But we
Mhm.
didn't get one, but the apple did come
Yeah.
up. But it was really cool to capture that. It's kind of obviously like Enter Sandman with Mar Rivera. So I don't think the
Hmm.
Dodgers do anything like that either. I know it's player specific, but it was sweet. I
Right.
think we were talking about how we need to get a promo somehow, some way with a light show for us.
If people want to watch Mike Irwin play the fake trumpet for that promo, comment below if you want to see Mike playing the
Yeah.
trumpet. I think that'd be really funny.
We need some
And
kind
it's
of
just
like
it kind of
crazy
just
open like that. And I
yeah.
just, make Mike as uncomfortable as possible. So that's the goal, right?
Smoke comes up in the apartment or the apartment in the office, and Mike
Yeah.
just walks out from behind the set playing the trumpet, and then some cool edits, and then the rest of us come out one at a time for our new promos.
Yes.
uh Hit
All
me up,
right.
promo department. I got
I
some
love it.
ideas.
I love it. I love it. I think that the I say the wildest thing Arkansas did. Matt Cronin, when he was here, when he would come out to close in games, he would have to get hit in the
Hmm.
face. So he would walk out, and one of the I say assistants, it's one of the GAs or the guys working with him in the bullpen would hit him,
Yeah.
and then he would walk out. That was his thing.
That's an interesting one. I know, I don't have never seen I would never want to get hit on the face when I'm walking out of the bullpen, but if it works, it works. I mean, if he
Yeah.
can close games, it works. I know Jacob and I talk about our favorite. Gage Wood comes out to Mary J. Blige, which we think is
Hmm.
hilarious. I forgot what song, but he comes out to Mary J. Blige, and Peyton Stovall walking up to London Falling is also hilarious.
Yeah.
So two of the better entrances for Razorbacks when it comes to
Yeah.
walk up songs, whether it's pitching or hitting as well.
Yeah, all right, let's talk about the Razorbacks because you were here. I was not for the wildness that was this Texas Tech series. And first and
Uh,
foremost, you love playing Texas Tech because they've always been really historically good. They're kind of down, I think, this year, but Tim Tadlock is one of the funniest coaches to listen to in interviews. He's always talking about his cherry chapstick. And he's just this Southern Western Texas dude and hilarious. And then of course Mike Irwin grew up a Texas Tech fan, so I got to get
mhm.
his take on all of this. But they jump out to that 7-0 lead, and to be honest, I was following it on my phone when we were working in New York, and then I stopped because they were
Mhm.
losing. And next thing I know, I wake up and they're winning. So I missed a lot.
Yeah, and it's funny because I actually was flying in right before the game, so I flew in before the game, was able to watch. I think my sister and I went out to dinner, and then we came back and was able to watch like the last inning run. But again, it's a 7-0 deficit. It's kind of same as you. I checked my phone at dinner. I was like, yeah, they're losing, whatever. Like
Yeah.
we'll get back to the last few innings, and then just watching them meticulously claw their way back into it and do what we've seen this team do. And unfortunately, they didn't do it in Alabama this weekend, where they had the ability to score a couple of runs. Because I think again, that Bama pitching staff's a little underrated, I think.
Mhm.
And again, you're on the road. It's a whole different atmosphere. This team is won 23 games entering this Texas Tech series at Baum Walker. So I think that had a big thing to do with it. But again, it's that meticulously like crawling their way back into it, knowing, okay, we just got like gut punch because no, it wasn't Cooper Dossett. It was Ben Bybee pitched the first inning. And that's the one I really watched at first before we went to dinner. And he went 1-2-3. And we're thinking, all right, this is going to be easy. All of a sudden, I checked my phone and it's 4-5-0. And I'm like, what happened? And then you see and then I saw the box score, and it's Ben Bybee gave up, 6 hits and 6 runs in the top of the second, recording, I think, 1 out.
Yeah.
So then the ability for them to bounce back and of course later score, but not the start you wanted to see
No.
from Ben Bybee.
No, it wasn't. But again, the bounce back, and the one thing I did see on Twitter, everyone was like, I don't know what DVH said to them in the fifth inning, but this is a completely different team. And
Mm-hmm.
you can see them being able to turn it on. And you're not always going to be able to come down from 7-run deficits, but to be able to do that, then turn around and win the second game, I think
Right.
they really needed that coming out of that Alabama series, because I think you ask them, they'll say the same thing. It was disappointing to come back from Tuscaloosa with your first SEC series loss of the season, and then you drop from number 1 to number 2 behind Texas A&M. You couldn't drop 2 games in the middle of the week to Texas Tech at home.
Mm-hmm.
You just couldn't do it.
Right. And that's something too where, I think that Bama series, we could look back on this in a couple of weeks ago. And I think I'm going to call it now that's really the big turning point because we talked about it. They hadn't gone and been to a real hostile environment besides that game 3 in Auburn where they lost. And they haven't faced very challenging team. Auburn right now is like 2-14 in the SEC. So clearly their season's, a now or never if they're going to turn around. But this is a Bama team that's really good pitching, good young talent as well. And, just their ability to shut them down. I mean, the Saturday starter went 8 innings and pitched a scoreless game. He only gave up four hits in the game, and 2 were from Ben McLaughlin and 2 were from Jared Sprague-Lott. So this was kind of that Bama series. You look at that and you go, okay, you think that's the rock bottom because we talked about it last week. If there was a series that they were going to go and lose, I thought it was going to be that Alabama series. It was. So then what happens? They come home and they turn around. I love the game 1 win, the ability to come back, and a really good job by the Arkansas bullpen in that game to really limit. Texas Tech, I think, had scored 10 or more runs, I want to say, in like 20 plus games. And so the ability to hold them under 10 runs in those 2 games was huge. In the second game, everyone's thinking it's going to be a slugfest. Who's rested? Who's ready to go? The Arkansas bullpen was shaky because DVH we saw in game 1. Once they got that lead, it was Will McIntyre, Gabe Gackle. It was your typical Friday night setup man closer. Even though McIntyre hasn't looked great the last week or so, you expect that again. It's just the ebbs and flows of the season. But game 2 was really fun. And again, good to see that Hudson White came through against his former team to either tie the game or give them the lead. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, that too. And I was going to ask you about Peyton Holt and Nolan Souza because again, these are 2 guys right now that are basically daring DVH to take them out the lineup. They're just that solid and they come up clutch time and time again. And for Nolan Souza as a freshman to do what he's doing, and like I can't say enough about Peyton Holt, who basically understands his role. I don't think I've seen a player understand their role more than Peyton Holt, understanding you're not going to be in the lineup today, but I might need you tomorrow or I might need you next week. And he is the same person in and out of that lineup. There is no up and down with him. And to see what they were able to do and bring to the table in this Texas Tech series is just so valuable for this Arkansas team down the stretch.
So here's trivia question of the day for you. You hit me last week. I'm gonna hit you right now. You ready?
Okay.
You ready for this?
Okay.
Who is number 2 on the Hogs when it comes to batting average?
Oh, number 2. Is it Peyton Holt?
It is Peyton Holt.
Yeah, Peyton Holt. Our guy
Peyton
who
Stovall.
Well, he finally got himself a home run too.
Yeah, look at us. We like double jinxed him last weekend, which is a good thing. Maybe we should do that to somebody else, Ryder Helfrich. Maybe this weekend.
So it's just to put it out there, Vahiva Aloy at the top. Okay.
No,
yes,
it's
Peyton Stovall. Okay, Peyton Stovall at the top. Okay.
Peyton Stovall is number 1. He's like 326, and then 324, that's where Peyton Holt was. I was pretty surprised when I saw that he was hitting 324, just because I think it has to do again with the lack of at bats he was getting when
Mhm.
he's hitting in these non-conference games. Again, you're facing the pitching isn't there to what it is that you see over the weekend, and you won't see great pitching with South Carolina this weekend, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But again, Nolan Souza had a great series against Ole Miss. I know we wanted to talk about him last weekend, and
Mhm.
I love talking about him. He's going to be just such a stud at second
Yeah.
base next year. Him and Aloy up the middle are going to be really fun to watch if Peyton Stovall does not come back. Just to put that out there, if he does not
Just in
come back,
case. Yeah.
yeah, because we never know. So they're fun to watch, but I think too. So he had a great Ole Miss series. Struggled in Alabama, left a lot of base runners on, but good to see him getting going. And Jack Wagner, I think could have won the game either, but DVH went with that righty lefty matchup when it came to Tuesday night, and him getting that game winning, walk off sac fly, which I thought at first could have been gone, but the wind was blowing in. So good to see Nolan back and hitting really well. And again, hard to take him out of the lineup, but
Mhm.
Peyton Holt's gonna be in the outfield every single game for the rest of the season. Like right now, I mean, you said it best, and you and Jacob went to go talk to him a couple weeks ago, and you said it best that he's gonna play wherever he wants, and that attitude isn't gonna change, and it's awesome to see. And Peyton's the kind of guy who's gonna take that in stride, and we've seen that. And he played 3 outfield positions in a week span in the last week, which is
Yeah.
really good to see the
Yeah.
versatility, especially because Ty Wilmsmeyer's struggling at the plate right now. Ross Lovich also struggling at the plate, and you haven't seen the glove drop off in the outfield when it comes to defense between really, I would say Wilmsmeyer is obviously the number one center on this team, center fielder, but the drop off from Edmondson and Wilmsmeyer and Edmondson, Lovich, and Peyton Holt hasn't been as big as I think most people would think glove wise, which gives DVH that knowledge to say, okay, I can put him out here and he's going to do just fine.
Yeah, I think so. Again, he's a guy who's like, I could even pitch if I need to, and I might be throwing 86, but I can still pitch. So you could put Peyton Holt wherever you want to, and it'll be interesting to see what this looks like against South Carolina. You go back on the road, which again, it's been the one thing that Arkansas, you haven't been able to go on the road and not lose a game, right? So
Mhm.
you would love to obviously win the series. It'd be great to see a sweep, but South Carolina, the 20th team in the country right now, historically good. What do you like about this series with Arkansas?
Yeah, I think South Carolina, it's going to be a really fun series. The biggest number that jumps out to me right now is South Carolina is 18-4 at home. I think that's something that goes a little bit undersaid, just because again they're kind of a team like Arkansas. They don't necessarily have that big name like Jack Taglione or Braden Montgomery at Texas A&M. They do have Ethan Petrie, the right fielder who is an absolute stud, 323 average. 15 home runs on the season. Cole Messina, the catcher, 291, 10 home runs on the season. So some really big power guys in this lineup. But when you look at the pitching, Eli Jones probably going to start game one, has 9 starts on the year, 3.57 ERA. Team ERA for them is 4.50. So again, the pitching isn't necessarily as deep as it is on some of the other teams in the SEC. But it's a South Carolina team that knows how to take care of business at home. Back when Alabama, Vanderbilt was in town. They swept Vandy, lost 2 of 3 at home to Texas A&M for 2 of their 4 losses, and then had some miscellaneous losses here and there for the other 2 that I don't remember off the top of my head. But this is a South Carolina team that's good at home, and again, they're going to test Arkansas. You're going to have a good crowd there in Columbia this weekend. Anytime a top 3 team comes in, and I think it's a good thing that Arkansas isn't number 1 anymore. Takes some of the pressure off their shoulders, because again, there is no big star on this Arkansas team,
Yeah.
as we've discussed week in and week out. It's a collection of guys. Obviously, the big name is Peyton Stovall, but Ben McLaughlin, again, also slowly, and Vahiva Lloyd keep making themselves keep making names for themselves. But it should be a really fun series in Columbia, and I think you'll see a lot of hitting from this Arkansas team. It's a pitching staff they're facing that does give up a lot of runs and does give up a lot of hits.
So I think I remember the last time that Arkansas went to South Carolina to play. You still had Robert Moore on the roster at second base. And I think if you've seen Robert Moore, he's not the tallest kid, whatever, but he is a stud
Mhm.
at second base. And they were heckling him and like calling him Oompa Loompa. And he hit like jacks. He hit 2 home runs. In fact, so I'm hoping that the South Carolina crowd has learned from their mistakes and there aren't any hecklings, because the next time you call someone an Oompa Loompa, he might put up 2 home runs on you. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely. Also, wait, can we talk about this Gorilla Ball shirt that's been all over the internet that we were texting about last night?
Right.
Of all the LSU fans are
So
now very upset that Arkansas has taken this.
Yeah, so we need to go back and give people some context of the gorilla itself. So explain to people the gorilla. it's like an action figure. It's not even a stuffed
Yes.
animal. It's like a
Yes.
solid
No.
plastic like gorilla that they've
It's
started
probably
giving
like
people.
this big. And again, it's kind of, the hitter of the game gets it. And then they started this gorilla mask. It started with Peyton Stovall, Nate Thompson, Bobby Warrens, where they were like, we need something, like a gorilla, let's play gorilla ball, hit the ball hard. And again, I know a lot of fans don't like the Nate Thompson launch angle thing. It's something that I know Mike talks about a lot, the whole idea of launch angle and whatever. But I think there's something to do in the modern game with launch angle. Again, story for a different time. We could debate launch angle versus contact hitting the other way. I'm more of a contact hitting the other way. So Mike and I agree in that. But hitting the ball hard nonetheless, leads to this whole idea of, oh, we should, what are we going to call this? And it's like gorilla ball. Next thing you know, they have a little, toy gorilla that they give out at the end of
Yeah.
the games. And now you can see more of the home run gorilla mask, which is really funny. And now the Baltimore Orioles now do a hydration keg station, which is very funny on the major league level. So it's not uncommon for teams to celebrate home runs, and some teams have really cool home run things. I think the Mariners do like a like an Aquaman pitchfork kind of thing,
Hmm.
which is cool. But Arkansas does the gorilla mask. And then they put out these gorilla ball shirts with ball with the Arkansas face of a gorilla, which I thought was really cool. And we were talking
Hmm.
about this last night, but LSU fans, not so much.
I saw someone that finally it's like welcome to the 2024 season. It was like, this is wrong. And I texted you guys and I was like, was this a thing? Was this a thing for LSU? And you all were like, yes. And I just busted out laughing. And you're like, we can't tell if you're serious. I'm like, I'm serious because I just found this out. Because to me,
Oh, I
LSU's a
found out it too yesterday
guys,
when Courtney
guys,
said
you guys are rally possums. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have not paid attention to LSU baseball since 1997, which in 97, that's where this all started. So I apologize. I was 10. But all
it
that
wasn't
to
even
be
alive
said,
yet.
like the most, yeah, we know. I was just gonna skate over that. And then the only animal I associate you guys to LSU is possums. I'm sorry, I didn't know. So the fact that this gorilla ball was actually like a thing, and now, so like now, is it an Arkansas flex? Are we trolling LSU? Like someone over there knew. So what are we doing? Are we
I
trolling?
think
Are
it
we
has to.
flexing? Are we doing a little bit of both?
I think it's got to be like an unintentional flex where because gorilla ball is more or less common when it comes to high school and club balls and playing that style of play. So again, I think it's unintentional just because that's kind of the Nate Thompson style of
Okay.
hit the ball hard, launch angle. It's more gorilla ball than anything else. And you see Nate Thompson.
Okay.
I mean, he is jacked at
Jacked.
third base, jacked at third base. So I think it's unintentional where they just like brought that in. But at the same time, it's kind of like, look, they swept the series. Who is LSU to talk right now? And they came to
Mhm.
Fayetteville and pretty much lost 3 games. And it wasn't really close for most of those games, besides that last Sunday game where Tommy White could have won the game, but he didn't because it was a foul ball. So I
Yeah.
think I think it's unintentionally funny,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Well,
So
here's
unintentionally intentional. I don't know.
I it's totally intentional. I will have to say that. It's funny too. I'm gonna
It's
web mirror
hilarious.
this because I
Mhm.
looked up Gorilla Ball LSU. That's what I've been Googling. But like it's Gorilla, so GEAU, like
Mhm.
go X Rilla Ball LSU. And these are the Gorilla Ball t-shirts, and this is like their
Oh, wow.
thing. And then we'll bring up uh the Gorilla Ball for Arkansas so that people can see
It's
the
definitely not
t-shirts.
the same. So it like when it comes to trademarking it, I don't think LSU, if they wanted to trademark Go GEAUX Rilla Ball,
Right.
that Arkansas can't use Gorilla Ball with the main part of their branding of the Arkansas brand being in the A for ball.
Hmm.
So no, it's not technically stealing, but like yeah, it's stealing at the same
So
time.
here's the gorilla mask. Everyone's been
Uh-huh.
watching me search. So there's the gorilla mask at the Texas Tech game, but they're wearing these black t-shirts that they posted. Here they are. Here are the
Mhm.
gorilla ball t-shirt. So let me know which one you like more. Obviously, Arkansas fans are going to say Arkansas because they're not going to say LSU.
Drop
But
it below.
these ones are pretty. These ones are pretty legit. I like the
Hmm.
black ones. Like I get the old school gorilla, but like with the A being the face and like not gonna lie, I could make that on my Cricut. I could make me one of those on my Cricut. You might see me with a little state of Arkansas with a gorilla face, and I'm just gonna walk around with it.
Like some like
Big.
Pig Trail
Stay
Nation with
tuned.
the
Stay tuned
gorilla.
next week. Next week, I'm gonna have my State of Arkansas Gorilla Face T-shirt. Just wait.
We will be patiently waiting.
Cricket coming in clutch. Put it in now.
I will.
Put it in your orders. Let me know. $10
Drop
a
your
pop. I'm
sizes
kidding.
below.
Okay, I don't have time for that. I have like barely
No.
time to like breathe.
I thought you were out of town next. Are you out of town next weekend?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, but I don't leave until Thursday night, and I'll be in Nashville. Vandy-ish. I go catch a Vandy game. Not at all. Not doing that to myself.
Probably not.
I
No,
have
there's
better
some more
things
fun
to
things
do
in Nashville to go do.
Than go to a Vandy game. No offense.
Not wrong.
The Vandy, kind of. The Whistler. Can't do it. Get him out of here.
We won't see Vandy for a while, so it doesn't matter. It's okay.
Hey, look. Texas A&M, #1 team in the country right now. We're getting closer and closer to possibly sending you guys down to A&M. I told the boys, by the way, if Arkansas, the boys are Jacob and Evan. When I talk about both of them, they're just the boys. That if Arkansas and A&M are playing for an SEC West or SEC title at the end of the year, that they can go down there. So you keep cheering for A&M to win and for Arkansas to win, so that can happen. Is that what we're doing here? The #1, #2 teams in the country? That would be pretty legit.
Yeah, I mean, right now that's how it looks. Is it going to stay that way? I think the Arkansas's biggest test till then is going to be that Kentucky series in 2 weeks, or actually in 3 weeks, because it's Florida, Mississippi State. No, it's Florida, Kentucky, then Mississippi State. Something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
I'm leaving to go out of town for the Florida series on purpose. I will not be here for that.
Yes, I said maybe we'll bring on Courtney as a special guest next week.
The look that she is giving me at the moment. Daggers.
I'm so mad. I told her, I was like, Courtney, if Alyssa doesn't want to jump on, like, you can jump on batting cleanup this week.
I don't fly out until 10 p.m. I can do it. We should have her as a special guest, though. We can find a way.
Oh, we're going.
We've got a second. We've got a second. Yeah, we've got a second thing. I've got a week to do it. We'll bring her on.
We can make a 3 box. Anyway, tease for next week. But back to what we were talking about before. Yes, so there's a map somewhere by your desk of our potential route.
It's a very sweet map. I was going to tell you that I was very impressed with the map of the southern part of the United States printed out and the things that you have drawn over here.
Yeah, I worked hard on it.
Done.
I take from when you taught me when you drew a map for me. So I had to draw a map back for you. I don't have it right now, obviously, because I'm in Chicago. Anyway. But I think for us to get to that series, and I think it's very possible, the toughest series left for Arkansas really is going to be that Kentucky on the road weekend, because then you have Florida at home, Mississippi State at home. Florida is pretty much 500 right now. Mississippi State, they're a top 25 team, and they're looking. Mississippi State's trending up. That's a team that could be a little scary in 2 weeks. But I think it's really possible that you could get a 1-3, 1-5, 2-5 matchup for A&M and Arkansas, and that series is going to determine the SEC regular season. I think that we're absolutely still in play for that, and if it does happen, we'll have plenty of coverage down in College Station, which will be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But first, South Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a fun one over in South Carolina and Columbia. By the way, if anyone cares, Florida's 7-8 in SEC play.
So getting better.
She hates me so much. She hates me.
No, she's where is she on her scale right now?
She'll be fine. Hey, we'll phone a friend. Hey, Courtney, who did they play this week? Who's their midweek game?
They won their midweek game.
Against who? But if they win their midweek games, they lose their SEC series.
They lose the series.
Right.
Yeah. So who did they play ahead of Arkansas?
I'm looking. Hold on.
This is actually like, we're not trying to like clown her. This is real. If they lose on Tuesdays,
Jacksonville,
then they win over the weekend. If they lose during the week, and they win over the week, they lose. Yeah.
They're playing Vanderbilt this weekend.
And then Stetson.
Stetson. Oh gosh, they play Stetson.
They're gonna lose. They're gonna lose. Actually, we need you to beat Stetson.
No, we need them to beat Stetson.
If we keep trending in this direction.
And play bad. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go.
There's the give and take. Well, special guest next week, Courtney Mims.
There we go. Can't wait. Cannot wait. She is going to talk so much about Jack Caglione. We're going to have to mute her microphone.
Probably.
All right. Thank you so much for joining Betty Cleanup this week. I'm cutting you off. You've got a game to get ready for. Do you tailgate for baseball games at Wrigley? Is that how that works?
We are heading to Wrigley probably between 4 and 5, meeting one of my fraternity brothers who's going to the game with us. So we're probably heading down there in like 2 hours or so, and we'll tailgate around Wrigley, go to some of the bars, and then hit the stadium. And you'll definitely see stuff on my Twitter from that or later today
Yeah.
because I've
That'll
just
be
been
us.
eating my way around Chicago. Portillo's for lunch today, Giordano's yesterday, Cubs game tonight.
Gosh, that just sounds like a lot of carbs. I'm pretty sure that,
I had an
Oof.
900 calorie milkshake
What?
for lunch today.
A
Yeah, the
900
cake from Portillo's is like 860 calories, worth every calorie.
Oh my God. I'm pretty sure that I gained weight by you saying that. Okay. All right. Thank you so much,
Probably.
Evan. Thank you much for I'm cutting you off. Cutting you off. We're done. We're done with the episode, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the series with South Carolina. We'll talk about next week. Bye, everybody.